I begin by acknowledging the Kaurna people as the traditional owners of the land on which we meet. I want to acknowledge my friend and parliamentary colleague in Stephen Conroy. I'm really glad that I still get to say friend, because we have been badgering him quite a lot for about 3 years to ensure that we get to this point that we are here today. Can I also acknowledge David O'Loughlin, the Mayor, whose leadership has ensured that Prospect is absolutely at the forefront of this rollout. As well as, I know we've got Mark, Monica, Anthony from the local council, of course Mark, the CEO, Tony Gibbs and Holly from NBN Co, Steve Harrison. Steve, I don't know what we're going to do without those regular phone calls from a very panicked Steve saying, come on, we've got to move, can you speak to the Senator, can you run past his office? No, but there is no doubt that you have played such a tremendous and important role here, and you will ensure that this community is a better place with better technology than it was when you arrived. So thank you for the huge role that you've played. But to all of our, Rachel Sanderson, sorry Rachel, the State Member for Adelaide, to all of our business leaders, community leaders, those who have worked so hard to bring us to this point. I mentioned when we were in the hookup to the Tasmanians that I had sore cheeks from grinning so much, and I wasn't exaggerating. Being out there today, we know we've talked about the NBN, we know we've talked about the costings, we know we've talked about the ideas behind why it is so important. But I have to tell you, to stand there and actually see the fibre, the real NBN fibre being hauled through our local neighbourhoods, our local community, is something incredibly special. This is real, this is a huge reform, and I am so proud to be a part of it, and that we have been able to ensure that Prospect and Adelaide are absolutely at the forefront of cutting edge technology, some of which you've just seen in the demonstration here today. This is about the fact that we actually need a plan for a modern Australia. As South Australians in particular, but as Australians, we need to look at how are we going to stay at the cutting edge? How are we going to ensure that we continue to be innovative? How are we going to ensure that we have the technology to keep us in front? And this is absolutely critical to that. I know, like many of you here, I've spoken to local businesses who have moved from other neighbourhoods, from other suburbs, who have set up on Prospect Road saying, we want access to the NBN first. We know that we can get a competitive advantage on all of those in our sector if we are a part of this neighbourhood. And I am so proud that we have worked to ensure that we are amongst the first here in South Australia. We know that this is as exciting as it was to see that fibre, that this is about more than infrastructure. This is actually about what we do with the infrastructure. And I think just through a couple of the things that we've already seen here today, we can see how big this can be. The NBN will actually transform lives. It will change the way we go about business. It will change the way we go about communicating with one another. It will change the way we go about shopping, which is always another very exciting development as well. And as someone put forward, hopefully one day it will change the way we cook, and they can actually do that for us too, not just provide the ingredients. But of course that means that we only get the full benefits of the NBN when we bring the community along, and that's why we are so proud to be investing over 600,000 federal dollars into these facilities, into the hub, into the digital enterprise, so that we can work with the local community to train people up, from training people into, as we saw, some quite simple stuff, emails, online shopping, how to use an iPad, through to working with business so that we can actually ensure that they stay ahead of their competitors outside of this. This is incredibly important. I believe it's important to Prospect, it's important to Adelaide, it's important to Australia. And I believe that once you have a look around the digital hub, you see the potential, you see why we absolutely cannot revert to a plan that relies on the sort of copper network that David was just talking about. It is frightening that that is a real risk for Adelaide and for South Australia, and I believe that we must make sure that the community can see the full potential of the NBN through the great facilities that are going to be open here today. So thank you again to the Council in particular. We love working in partnership with you. We've done it when it comes to NBN, we've done it when it comes to Prospect Oval and a range of other initiatives. It's great to see another support, another successful support for our community. So thank you for making it happen, and it is my great